Hello students, good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon.
Which chapter do I need to revise?
Chapter 7.
Chapter 7. Yeah. So we have done vertex coloring, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you quickly revise any one of you? Vertex coloring, chromatic number, proper coloring, and all that. Yeah.
Ma'am, vertex coloring is the coloring of vertex.
Yes.
Proper coloring is the coloring in which adjacent vertex get different color, and the least proper coloring is chromatic.
Yeah. If proper coloring is done with the help of k number of colors, then it is said to be k colorable. Right? The
Yes.
graph is k colorable. If k proper coloring exists. Yeah. What else? Chromatic number,
Chromatic number is the least proper color.
minimum k, such that G is k colorable. So same thing you have edge coloring. Now define the edge coloring. Same way we had discussed that k coloring or edge coloring, vertex coloring, edge coloring, color classes we have done. Color classes. Yeah, all the elements in a particular color class are, whether this is vertex or edge, doesn't matter, are adjacent, are dependent or not dependent.
Ma'am, they are independent.
Color classes element are dependent or not dependent.
Ma'am, one second. Color classes.
You have R colors, so R color classes will be forming, right? A1, A2, so on up to AR. So all the elements of A in vertex coloring as well as edge coloring forms independent set or maybe dependent or something else. Yeah. Are these dependent or not dependent? Here, tell me. 600 बिल को क्या हो गया? अभी तो रिकॉर्डिंग स्टार्ट की थी. Anyways. See, one color, the color number one, we are coloring to all those vertices or all those edges which are independent. Na? Clear? So, color classes element forms matching in case of edges and forms independent number, independent set in case of vertices. Clear? In a particular color class. Yeah. What else we did? Proper edge coloring, same thing. K edge colorable, same thing. Chromatic index, or you can just say edge chromatic number, denoted by chi dash. This again the same thing. Can you define it? Yeah,
Least value of K4 with graph is K colorable.
yeah. Least case is that graph is K colorable, minimum K. So that is your edge chromatic number. One other name is your chromatic index. Here, now this if you have any graph G, you can find the line graph of that graph. Okay, we have
Yes,
done
ma'am.
the line graph. If G is there, G is this one, then you can find line graph by considering these edges as vertices. Okay, here edges will form vertex over there, right? When these will be adjacent, if EF, you can just say small g. So EFG. Yeah. Can you say G and F will be adjacent over here?
No, ma'am.
No.
No.
These does not share any vertex. Okay. So this will not be there. What about G and E?
Yes, ma'am.
Have common vertex. So that's why adjacent. E and F. Yes. Yeah. For P4 it will be P3, right? And can you have multigraph, line graph? Line graph as multigraph in any case. For this one, what should be A? You have B and C, three edges. Yeah,
No, ma'am.
no, you will be always having the simple graph. Okay, so line graph is always a simple graph. That is corresponding to A, we have A vertex. Corresponding to B, we have B edge. C, B vertex. Corresponding to C edge, we have C vertex. And as these all three shares vertex have some common vertex, so its line graph will form a triangle. Clear? So here vertices become the edges over here, right? So vertex coloring will become edge coloring over here, right? And maximum independent vertices become maximum independent edges. Means to say, it will form matching, right? Color class over here for vertices, for edges, not vertices. Here it is edges. I'm just considering opposite. Yeah, here edges and here vertices. Okay. Here color class of edge color classes. Here vertex color classes. Okay. Here alpha dash will become the maximum independent edges. Of G, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Now you are audible.
Okay. So, what I was discussing, Eulerian. If Eulerian circuit over here become the Hamiltonian cycle, because edges over here, a circuit that contains all the edges, that means something that will contain all the vertices without repetition, here also without repetition. So that's why it will become the Hamiltonian cycle, that means spanning cycle. Here means all the edge property become the vertex property. And if you want to find the edge chromatic polynomial for this one, then try to find the line graph corresponding to G and find the vertex chromatic polynomial. Okay, that will be same as this one. Okay, so this one, edge become the vertex And here, any two vertex in the line graph will be adjacent whenever you have adjacency over here, right? Whenever you have common point over here, right? So these are the line graph. For this graph, you have this line graph. For C3, you again have C3. These are the vertices now, adjacent because of common point, adjacent because of common point, adjacent because of common point, right? For C4 again, C4, in general, Cn, it will be Cn. And for Pn, it will be Pn minus 1. For P3, P2, and we found for P4, it was coming as P3. So, in general, whenever n is at least 2 non-trivial path, this becomes n minus 1. Okay? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So these are all already I have discussed. Edge coloring, proper edge coloring, K colorable, chromatic index. In general for C2, K, even cycle it is 2, odd cycle it is 3, and for non-trivial path it is 2, for this trivial graph it is 1. And for K2n, it will be 2n minus 1. Okay, 2n minus 1. For K4 it was 3. For K6 it will be 5, and so on. Clear? You can just say whenever you have maximum degree or one vertex has if delta is the maximum degree, then there will be existing some vertex corresponding to that. You have delta number of edges incident with that, right? So that means to say delta number of edges says this vertex. Clear? Say this vertex. So we need different colors, right? Because of adjacency, all these delta number of edges are adjacent. That's why we need at least a delta number of colors. Okay, delta number of different colors. That's why chromatic index needs to be at least delta Z. Clear? And for simple graph, for all the graph, it is the possibility, right? And for bipartite, it will be equal. And for the simple graph, you have maximum bound also. So minimum bound is for simple graph, it's delta, and maximum is delta plus 1. And for multigraph, for bipartite, it is equal for bipartite. And for multigraph, you have minimum bound is this one, and maximum bound is delta plus mu. Mu corresponds to the multiplicity. Okay, multiplicity of all the vertices. That is maximum of all the vertices. Okay, that will be your multiplicity. One more thing we have done, that is this will be also delta of Z by 2. Okay, 3 by 2 into delta. This is for multigraph. Okay, and for simple graph, you have multiplicity is 1. That's why it is replaced by 1. Okay, and you are on the basis of this one only. So for the simple graph, we have classifications class 1 and class 2. So class 1, if this is equal to delta. Okay, chromatic index will be equal to delta. These are known as class 1 graph. Okay, so all the bipartite graph falls into class 1, right? All the bipartite graph falls into class 1. Okay?
Yes,
And class 2 is delta plus 1, for which we have exactly equal to delta plus 1. These are known as class 2, and all the evens, no, not even or bipartite, odd cycle forms the class 2 graph. Also Petersen graph forms the class 2, and many other graphs. Clear? Yeah, edge coloring for K2n, how we define the minimum is minimum colors we need is exactly 2n minus 1 number. So there will exist minimum this much number of classes corresponding to this much number of colors we need exactly this much number of classes, and these color classes forms the matching. As you can see, all the vertices over here are adjacent, so you can put one vertex at the center and all other are over here, right? So V is this one, and 1, 2, 3, and so on up to 2n minus 1. And 2nth vertex is your V. So all the 2n vertices we have considered. So initially you want matching, right? For first color, you can choose any V2, V1, this one, this one, this one, this one. Okay? This is 4, this is 5, this is 2n minus 2, 2n minus 3, 2n minus 4. Okay? Now for second one, we don't want to we don't want to repeat the edges, right? There will be some different edges, so you can remove this one. You can just consider the other one. As there are 2n minus 1 number of edges incident with each vertex, so there will exist how many matching? 2n minus 1. Considering this one edge, this one for second one, this one for third one, and so on. Each time you will be considering some different edges. Okay, and as you can just see, all are independent. That's why this forms the matching, and these forms the color classes. All the edges of a matching can be colored by using same color only, right? That's how we color this K2n. Okay, multiplicity is in case of multiple graphs. Okay, whenever there exists multiple graph, then that should be loopless graph. That means multiplicity of pair xy, this will be your number of edges with endpoint x and y. Okay, and maximum out of all these, you have mu g. Okay, then you have multiple edges. Obviously, whenever you have multiple edges, this will affect the edge coloring, right? Whenever if you have single edge, you need one color, right? If you have double edge or triple edge, you need different, because this shares the vertex. This shares common vertices, right? And if you have a multi graph, in that one, for vertex colors, you need exactly the same color as you do in the corresponding simple graph, right? Because here this is also adjacent, these two vertices, and we need two colors. Here also we need two colors for these two vertices, right? So multiplicity only chi dash is affected by mu, but not chi. Okay. Yeah, these are the result for multi-graph, as you can just see over here. Delta plus mu. It can be at most delta plus mu. And chi dash, this can be at most 3 by 2 delta z for a loopless and multi-graph. Okay, and whenever regularity is there, regularity in sense of delta, that means in sense of degree, and regularity in sense of this one. That means between each pair you have the same number of edges. Multiplicity of all the pairs, every pair is same. Then you can have equality. Otherwise, you will be having strictly less. Okay. So as you can see over here, this is 8 regular graph. Degree of all the vertices is 8, and multiplicity is 4. Okay. So here, what we have? Chi dash, as every two or any two edges serves a vertex, right? Each pair, all the edges are pairwise adjacent, pairwise intersecting, pairwise serves the vertex. Okay, any two you pick up, and they are sharing some common vertex. Here.
Yes, ma'am.
So we are having total number of, we need at least or exactly equal to total number of edges and total number of edges are 12 over here. So chi dash will be 12, and this is exactly equal to 3 by 2 delta. What is delta for this one? 8. So 3 by 2 into 8, you are getting 12. And also you can calculate delta plus mu, that is 8 plus mu is 4. That is regular. Okay. So hence you can just see over here, if you are considering regularity, you are having equality. Otherwise, you might get strictly less than. But it will be at most delta plus mu. Okay. Sometimes you might get 3 delta by 2. Clear? Yeah, class 1 and class 2, these are the simple graph we classify on the basis of this one, whether this is equal to delta or delta plus 1. Chromatic index. So if it is equal to delta, then it will be class 1. If equal to delta plus 1, then these graphs are considered to be class 2. Okay. Now you have one factorization. Whenever you have a regular graph with degree r, then delta will be also r, because maximum degree is maximum out of all these degrees, and for all we have r. So delta will be also r. So for a regular graph, coloring with the r number of, or you can just say coloring with the delta number of colors, it's just the same as factorizing all the edges into r classes, right? And whenever you are able to factorize or decompose into r color class, they will be forming one factor. Clear? And this is known as one factorization. If exists, for example, Petersen graph is 3 regular, but you cannot find 3 one factors for this Petersen graph. One factor you can find, but further you cannot factorize it. So that is for that sense you cannot color it by 3. You need more than 3. For Petersen graph, you have 3 or more than 3. What is chromatic index? But for sure, you cannot decompose EG as the one factors. Factor number 1, one factor number 1, union one factor number 2, disjoint union with one factor number 3. That does not exist. Any F2 and F3. F1 obviously exists. Okay. Clear? Then you have one factorization. One factorization, again the same thing as I discussed. This is the decomposition of a regular graph into one factors, and if it is r regular graph, then r number of one factor will exist. Okay. For example, you can have in C4. C4 is 2 regular, so that will exist 2 number of one factors. And wherever a graph in which you have one factorization exists, one factorization you can find, you can decompose this EG into r number of one factors, then that graph is known as one factorable. Not all r regular graphs are one factorable. Only those where one factors exist, you are able to decompose into one factors. For example, Petersen graph is not a one factorable. One factor exists but not one factorable. Clear? So don't get confused with this one factor exists or not, or one factorable. One factorable is just continuous. You can find the one factors again and again, and at last also you will be having one factor. Clear?
Can you give some question on this?
Yeah.
Can you give some question on this concept?
On this one, I told you Petersen graph. For example, you have one factor exists in this graph. And also this in this graph, one factor exists. This is not the Petersen graph. Okay, this is 3 regular graph, right?
Yes.
3 regular, 3 degree. So can you find one factor over here? One factor. Yes. One factor means perfect matching. So this blue
Ma'am,
line. Yeah.
we have to find any three per one factor.
Yeah. Any three one factor means they should be disjoint. Means no edge should be same, common. Yeah. So F1 we have found these edges. Okay. Now we cannot take again these edges. Okay. So this is your F1. F1. F2. Can you find the remaining? If you remove these one, whatever the blue part, is you remove it, then what do you get? C5 inside and C5 outside. Can you find two more one factors? If it would be C10, then there would exist, right? One factor. And again the remaining part will be one factor. But now it's composition of C5 and C5. So the one factor will depend whether this C5 there exists one factor in C5 or not. That means that C5 perfectly match with itself. That means that there exists any perfect matching in C5 in this one and this one. No, it is not. There does not exist any one factor for that, right? So yeah, two factor exists. So F1 with some two factor F2. Okay, this is your two factor, or let me consider this as F only. That is these lines union with 2C5. 2C5 is your two factor, right? Two factor means two regular spanning subgraph. So C5 is two regular and this is also two regular. So combination of these is also two regular. But you cannot decompose this into further one factors. Clear? Got it? Now look at K3. K3 is also 3 regular. Right? K3 is 3 regular. As you can see. So one factor exists, one is this one. Clear? Another is the opposite edges. These one and these edges. Okay? This vertical one and this lateral one. Right? So this is one factor, this is one factor, and this is one factor. So you can decompose the edges of this graph K3 as the one factors.
One.
And how many one factors? 3 number of one factor. Clear? And all are disjoint. Means you can write this as equal to, or edges as set of this graph as F1. You disjoint union with, because you are not repeating any edge. You can just see. Right? F2 union, this is your F3. Clear? So as it was 3 regular, that's why, because one regular, one factor means one regular, so one regular every time. There will be 3 number of one factor. And when it is R regular, then R number of one factor can exist, possibility. If exists, it would be known as factoriable graph. One factoriable graph, factorization occurs. If does not exist, then that does not exist. Any one factor further initially exists in this graph or in Petersen graph as well, but then no factor, no one factor, right? So this is, there exists one factor that we can just say, but this is not a one factoriable. Clear? The difference between one factoriable and one factor exists or not? And this is, there exists one factor and this is also one factoriable. Clear?
Yes.
And whenever you are able to find R number of one factor, you can use easily, because every one factor is a perfect matching, right? Means forms the matching. So you can use the same color on this one factor, right? Each one factor F1, F2, F3 and so on up to FR. You can use R number of colors, right? So chi dash will be R in that sense. Clear?
Yes. Means with if a graph is given that it is R regular and one factorization exists, then we can say the chromatic
Yes, it will be, yeah,
chromatic.
exactly equal to this, that R degree. Okay? But if it is not given as one factoriable, then you can't say. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, how many colors you need for this one? Can you color it? Edge coloring. So as this is 3 regular, so at least you need 3, right? 3 colors at least you need. So let's see by assigning the colors 1, 2, 3. Now this you can assign 3, right? This you can assign 2. This you can assign 1, 1. This one 3. So this one you can use 2 or 3. This was 2, no? This is 3. This is 1 again. This is you can use 2. What about this one? 3. This is again 3. What else? Over here 2 or 1? Anything? We have used over here 3, no? So 2 you can use. Over here it is 1 and 3. We need 1 over here. Now 1 and 1. Here we can use 2, right? Here we can use 3. Now here, can we use 2? No. Can we use 1? No. Can we use 3? Can you use 3? No. This is the adjacent width. So, does there exist any 3 coloring possible? This should be 3 coloring, no? We have done for Cn with K2. What was it? Tell me. This one was 3, no? So maybe coloring we have assigned like that. So this is your C5 with K2, right? For this one it will be always 3. So it is not a one factoriable graph, still there exists 3 coloring. Clear? Exactly 3 coloring. Okay? What about Peterson graph? 3 coloring or 4? I think 3 coloring exists in Peterson graph as well. You can check it. Yeah. Odd cycle. C3. C5. How much coloring? 2 coloring, 3 coloring.
3.
3, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Then you cannot use 1 and 2. You have to use 3. So here you have chromatic index is equal to 3, right? And which is strictly greater than that. So this falls into which category? Class 2 category. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, here we discussed about the Eulerian part first and then Hamiltonian cycle, Hamiltonian graph, and 3 most important theorem we have discussed over here. Can anyone tell me the definition of Eulerian?
It is a closed trail that covers all the edges.
Yeah,
It is a closed Eulerian circuit
circuit. Yes, closed trail
that covers all the edges.
that covers all the edges. Hamiltonian cycle, a cycle that covers a spanning cycle, you can just say, that covers all the vertices, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Corresponding to Eulerian circuit, the graph will be Eulerian graph, and corresponding to Hamiltonian cycle, the graph will be Hamiltonian graph. If not Eulerian, you can at least find the open Eulerian trail. And what was the condition for Eulerian graph in terms of degrees?
Degree should be even.
Degree of all the vertices is even. And for Eulerian, open Eulerian trail, you need exactly 2 odd degree. Okay, 2 vertices with odd degree. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So for Hamiltonian, what should be the condition? There are 3 conditions. There is no if and only if condition. You have Hamiltonian, then this implies something, and if some condition holds, then that is one way condition only we have, and both way condition is with one more condition. That is, if specific condition satisfied, then you have both way condition. Otherwise, not. So first, let's see examples. Cn, Eulerian and Hamiltonian both. Kn, Hamiltonian. Which cycle exists? In Kn, which Hamiltonian cycle exists?
Yeah.
Cn, right? So all Kn are Eulerian. Is it true?
No, ma'am.
Clear?
No, ma'am.
No.
I'm only odd when n is odd. Only then.
Yeah, n is odd, then you have, this is n minus 1 regular graph, right? So n minus 1, whenever n is odd, then n minus 1 will be even, means all the vertices have n minus 1 degree, that is even degree. In that sense, it will be Eulerian, okay? And all Kn are Hamiltonian. So you can have here some counter example for ways. A graph which is Hamiltonian but not Eulerian. You can have K even degree, right? This is not Eulerian but Hamiltonian. Clear? Next is KRS type, and you will have a cycle whenever you have M is equal to N or R is equal to S. So K22 is Hamiltonian, K33 is Hamiltonian. Okay, K44 is Hamiltonian. Clear? In KRR or MM, MN, M is equal to N, and it should be at least 2. Okay, for equal to 1 you have K1 comma 1. Okay.
Yes.
Then we have means KNN. In this one, which cycle exists? K2N cycle, right? It will contain all the n vertices over here, n vertices over. Yeah. So out of this one, you can form KRS or KMN type. You can form all those types which are Hamiltonian as well as Eulerian, not Hamiltonian, not neither Eulerian, and Hamiltonian but not Eulerian, not Hamiltonian but Eulerian, and what else? That's it, right? You can form all the example out of these KRS. So, yeah, can you find some graph? Can you give me some graph which is Hamiltonian but not Eulerian. In complete graph also and in complete bipartite graph also you can find it, right? Not Eulerian means you can take some odd, right? Odd and equality. You need equality for Hamiltonian, right? So you can have K5 This is Hamiltonian but not Eulerian. Okay? Not Hamiltonian but Eulerian. You can have both even, okay, but not equal. K24, K410 and so on, right? K even, comma even. That is not Hamiltonian but Eulerian. Clear? So these
Yes.
two done. What about neither Eulerian nor Hamiltonian? You don't want equality and as well as you don't want even. So you can have one even, one odd, right?
Yes.
Or you can have both odd, 3 and 4, K 3 and 5. This is also not Hamiltonian, not Eulerian, and same this one. Clear?
Yes.
What about the first one? We are done. Yeah, both. This one. Both Eulerian and Hamiltonian means we want equality as well as even.
Even.
So K22, K44, K66 and so on. Clear? And what about wheel? In general it is Hamiltonian. Kn also in general it is Hamiltonian. Okay? But Kn, K odd it is Eulerian. What about W? Is it Eulerian? This cannot be Eulerian, right? So wheel
No,
is
it is not.
never Eulerian. You have uh, 3 degree in wheel, right? Except one vertex, all other vertices have 3 degree. This one done. Yeah, there is if G is Eulerian if and only if you have all degree of all the vertices is even, and G has open Eulerian trail if and only if exactly 2 odd vertices vertex degree it has. Okay. Now, if you have G is Hamiltonian, then you can say something about the number of component of G minus S. This will be less than equal to S cardinal T. Whatever you are removing a set of vertices. Okay, a set of vertices from G, and whatever the obviously it will be disconnected or right. If you are removing some vertices, it might get disconnected. So number of component of G minus S will be at most equal to the number of vertices removed. Clear? And this is only one-way condition. You have P, that is G is Hamiltonian, that is your P implies Q. And this is happening for all non-empty. Okay. Now, you cannot say Q implies P. That means this condition occurs. Then you cannot say G is Hamiltonian. For Hamiltonian, this condition will occur. If this condition is occurred, the graph still may not be Hamiltonian. But you can obviously say if this condition does not occur, that is negation of Q is there, then what you can conclude negation of P, right?
Yes. Negation of Q implies negation of P.
Yeah, this is implies, no? Opposite implies. Yeah, so means to say if you have great that is strictly greater than, not equality. If you find some negation of for all means
There exists.
for which negation occurs. So if you find some vertices, some vertex set for which you have strictly greater, then you can say G is not a Hamiltonian, non-Hamiltonian. Clear? another is if this was G has Hamiltonian cycle or G is Hamiltonian, then you can say about this one. And another thing is when you can say G is when you are sure about the graph G is Hamiltonian. So that is if G is the simple graph and n should be at least 3. Obviously, n have to be at least 3 in case of simple graph. The minimum non-trivial cycle is C3 now, and that occurs in case of 3 order, right? So n should be at least 3, and G is the G is the simple graph with the condition that delta of G is at least n by 2. Okay, delta of G, that is minimum degree, is at least n by 2. Then you can say G is Hamiltonian. Okay. This is also P implies Q statement, not the converse true. Contrapositive obviously true. That means if G is not Hamiltonian, then you are sure that either this is not simple or this is not greater than equal to, means this has order less than equal to 3, or this condition does not occur. That means minimum degree is less than n by 2. Okay, if non-Hamiltonian. And the last condition we have done, that was if you have that is from the proof of this one only we have classified that. We have just taken that both way case. That is, whenever you have U and V non-adjacent, obviously non-adjacent have to be there for for any graph, right? Otherwise, if all vertices are adjacent, you are having Kn graph, and Kn you already know that this is Hamiltonian. Clear? So that exists at U and V non-adjacent vertices in G. Okay, means these are non-adjacent. This as is not present. These are non-adjacent in G. Then what do you say? G is Hamiltonian. If G is Hamiltonian, then G plus UV is also Hamiltonian. Clear? G plus UV is also Hamiltonian. Understood? Because the same cycle, this is saying that same cycle, yeah, this graph should be simple graph. Whatever the G has Hamiltonian cycles, spanning cycles, the same cycle will exist because we are not adding any more vertices. We are just adding this edges. We are making these as adjacent, right? In G plus UV. Now, can you say G plus UV is Hamiltonian? Then G is Hamiltonian. This you will be sure whenever you have degree of U plus degree of V. This is at least n. That is at least n. Okay, n by 2 plus n. Yeah, this will be at least n. Then you are sure that is this is Hamiltonian. Then this is Hamiltonian. If you add this condition. Okay. This is your if and only if condition if you are adding this condition. So this one was this that first one, G has a Hamiltonian cycle, then you have this one. Number of component of G minus 1. G minus S is at most is cardinality. All is subset of Vg on MP, right? Yeah, if you want to show that some graph is non-Hamiltonian, then what do you do? Take the contrapositive of the statement. The statement, if Hamiltonian, then this occurs, right? And take the contrapositive of this statement means if this does not occur for some S, then G will not be Hamiltonian. So try to find some S for which number of component of G minus S is strictly greater than S cardinality. And here you can have A and B. If you remove these A and B, the number of components you are getting is 3, right? And which is strictly greater than S. That's why you have G is non-Hamiltonian, and by definition, if you are able to find C20, then it will be Hamiltonian, otherwise not. Means there does not exist C20 even, right? Clear?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this was about converse, that was about contrapositive. Means you have G is Hamiltonian, then this condition satisfied. Now, if this condition satisfies, if some graphs satisfies this condition, then can you say G is Hamiltonian? Answer is no, otherwise this would have been if and only, right? But this is not if and only, this is only the necessary condition. Okay? That is, for Hamiltonian, necessary condition is this one. This is not the sufficient one. Means to say, if this is a graph for which this condition, number of component of G dash minus S, this graph minus S, is strictly less than S cardinality. For all S, if you pick any S, if you take any number of vertices, and this condition holds. But this graph G dash is still non-Hamiltonian. Means to say, for that condition, converse is not true. Clear? Hamiltonian path is same spanning path. Okay. Now, if you have Hamiltonian path in any graph, then you can say G plus K1, that is one vertex. If you join it, earlier you had this G, and only the Hamiltonian path part we have taken this one. Okay, G joined with K1, this will be adjacent to this, and this, right? So for Hamiltonian cycle, in this graph, we will be taking only these two edges. Okay, we'll discard all other. Then this one we have done, that G is a simple graph with at least 3 number of vertices and minimum degree is at least 10/2. Then you have G is Hamiltonian. You proved by using maximal non-Hamiltonian. Then a maximal non-Hamiltonian graph contains at least 2 non-adjacent vertices. Then we have taken this H plus UV become Hamiltonian because H was maximal, and even if we add one H, this will become Hamiltonian. Means to say, this was H was non-Hamiltonian and H plus UV become Hamiltonian. Means to say, every Hamiltonian cycle in H plus UV contains UVH. Otherwise, H would have been Hamiltonian, right? So, but this is not the case. So, every cycle contains UVL. So, if we remove from that cycle, we take that Hamiltonian cycle, and if we remove this UVH, that becomes the path, Hamiltonian path, that is also present in H, this maximal Hamiltonian graph, and that path, in that path, whenever you have U is adjacent to any vertex, the predecessor of this vertex is not adjacent to V. So like this, degree of V gets affected by degree of U. That means whenever there is an H, there is no H. So it will be, it can be at most n minus 1, but that is no H according to the degrees of U. So degree of U, that's why it is n minus 1. It can be at most minus degree of U. Because the possibility, the other possibility, this much possibility, the degree of U much, this much possibility have removed from the degree of V. Okay. Otherwise, why this is not occurring? Otherwise, if this happens, then you can find this one as Hamiltonian cycle from here to here. Okay. So that's why, and we have considered H as maximal Hamiltonian. Okay. So from this condition we got this one, and also this one is given for H as well. We found n is less than equal to n minus 1, which is not at all true, right? So we have assumed something wrong, that is, we have assumed, suppose G is non-Hamiltonian, this we have assumed. So this is not the case. G have to be Hamiltonian if this is the condition with simple and at least 3 vertices. Is that clear? The same thing we are proving next this question. G is a simple graph if U and V are known as adjacent vertices. Then you, with the condition that Degree of u plus degree of v is at least n. This condition we need only for this way. That is opposite, right? Reverse converse way. For this direct G is Hamiltonian, there exists some Hamiltonian cycle that will also be present in G plus UV. Same cycle will work for this one. Okay. But for the reverse case, as we have discussed above, we need this condition. Okay, degree of u plus degree of v will be at most n minus 1 by using the path 1, right? And here it is given at least n. Which is not true. That's why whatever we have assumed that is G to be non-Hamiltonian, that is not true. So G have to be Hamiltonian. Clear? This was given. This we need to prove. Suppose if possible G is non-Hamiltonian. Clear? So that's the end of this chapter. Yeah, in next class, what would you want? Chapter
1.
1. How many classes left? Okay, chapter 1, and if time permits, chapter 2 as well. Okay, tomorrow morning. I think Chapla ma'am will take this class. I don't know whether she has joined or not.
She has joined, ma'am.
Okay, I'm stopping here. Thank you all.
Manju, I'm here.
Okay, ma'am. Please continue.
Okay. Thank you to you. So I think I'll start your